ABS, brilliant. Well, hello again and welcome to the video, and this time around it's a second-hand first impressions review of this, my newly purchased Aprilia Pegaso 650 Strada. I think it is the best £2,400 that I have ever spent on a bike and possibly ever spent on anything. An absolute bargain. So I think the first thing that we should do is probably talk about the model history, because it's probably not a bike that is that well known, certainly here in the UK and maybe also in the States, although I would imagine there was millions of them sold in Italy. So the first Pegaso popped up in 1990, I think it was, and it was 600cc, and it was very much part of that big traily craze. So that version lasted for a couple of years, and then Aprilia brought out a version with the water-cooled 650cc Rotax engine, which I think is the one that most folk are familiar with. And there's various derivatives of that engine that were used in other motorcycles, most notably the BMW F650 Funduro. And as I say, it was very much one of those big trailers, you know, so also kicking about at the time was a Dominator, which I've owned previously, the XTZ 600 and the DR 650, and also the Funduro. So that continued for quite a number of years until Aprilia brought out this version in 2005, 2006 it was, and this version has the Yamaha Minarelli 660 engine in it. So that's the same engine that's used in the XT660, the Tenere version, and the Supermoto and the Trail version, and also the original MT-03. And with this one, it is very much a road bike, this particular version, because it's got a 17-inch front wheel and also a 17-inch back wheel with a quite slightly mad 160 rear tyre. Now, the other thing I've realised is I can't remember anything about 2007, which is the year that this motorbike was produced. 2007. It doesn't seem that far away, but also it seems absolutely centuries away. So according to a quick Google, 2007 major events included the launch of the iPhone, of course. So that's probably why I can't remember anything, because like your whole life is on the phone, isn't it? So the iPhone was introduced, Tony Blair resigned, and it was the beginning of the financial crisis. So all in all, probably wasn't that good a year, but yeah, what a strange year. Literally, my mind is blank. I can't even remember where I was working. I think I can remember where I was living. I was down south, but I don't like to talk about that. So the Aprilia 650 Pegaso Strada, let's have a quick run through as many of the specifications that I can remember. So dry weight is 170 kilos. It's got 17-inch front and rear wheels with a rather massive 160 on the back, which obviously tells you what its main purpose is. It's got a 320mm single disc on the front, and it's got Brembo brakes, and actually the front Brembo brake is utterly magnificent. Suspension, can't really tell you much about the suspension, although it's obviously right way up, and certainly the front suspension is, I won't say it's stiff, and it's certainly not soft, but it's really well damped, and you can certainly feel that in the compression. So I can't really remember anything else about the specs. Oh, the engine, mentioned the engine, 660cc, 50 horsepower. Now, what I would say about the engine performance is it sits nicely in between those long stroke air-cooled engines of yore, you know, perhaps like my old Honda Dominator, and also somewhere between the Revia shorter stroke engines like the KTMs. So this fits kind of nicely in the middle of them. It's got a lot of low down torque and mid-range, but also it will rev a little bit. So yeah, I think it's a nice compromise between the newer Revia engines and also the old air-cooled long stroke engines. What else? Comfort is surprisingly good. Now this has got an aftermarket seat on it, so just bear that in mind, but it's actually a very, very comfortable riding position. This particular bike also has risers, so it's probably not a good indication of, you know, the stock bike, but overall how the bike is at the moment, it is extremely comfortable, and this windscreen doesn't really do too much, but at least it does smooth out the airflow. When I was coming back on the motorway, I was quite comfortable doing 75 miles an hour. I didn't feel as though I was getting sucked off the back, and it is a very, very comfortable riding position. And as for the finish, well, I think the finish is really quite good. So this particular bike is 18 years old. Can you believe it? It's got a few scratches on it, a bit of patina and stuff, but you know, it's holding up really well. And I really do like the colour scheme. In some lights it looks orange, sometimes it's red, but very, very nice colour. And let's face it, everyone needs electric blue wheels in their life. Aren't they fabulous? What else is there to notice? Well, it's got a really nice little tank compartment with a secret button, which I'll show you later. It's also got quite good under-seat storage. That's really useful, so we'll have a look at that. It's got dual silencers. I mean, there's nothing that speaks of late 1990s, early 2000s, is there, than dual silencers. And I actually think they look really, really good. Okay, let's have a quick look under the seat. And you've got this fabulous storage area here. I'll take out all my bits and pieces. Toolkit, puncture repair kit, and a full-size foot pump. I mean, how good is that? Look at that. It's lovely. Just put it all back in again. Probably won't go now. Let's have a look at the tank lid. You have to turn it on first. Now, there is a special switch, and I'm not going to tell you where it is, but it's down here. Look at that. So it clicks open. A little thing in there. Look at that. Petrol in there. You've got like a little cubby hole, and it is perfect for storing your Tunnocks caramel wafers. Oh, lovely. You know when something is so bad and you know you shouldn't, but you just can't help yourself? That is a Tunnocks caramel wafer. Oh, love them, love them. Yeah, I know, completely childish, sorry. Oh, listen to that. Can't beat a big single, can you? So finally, I've decided that this is the perfect bike for knobbing about. And much better people than me could probably wheelie it, absolutely, forever. But I'm no good at wheelies, so I'm not going to do that. So splashing about in puddles, messing about in gravel, this is the perfect knobbing about bike. The handling then? Well, the handling is completely stupendous. And what I really like about it is that it's very flickable, very quick to flick from upright into lean going round corners. But it's also very stable and it's also very linear. So there's no circumstances where it feels nervous. And you know, once you're on the edge of the tyre, it is super stable and you get tons of feel. And this might seem like an odd thing to say, but it really reminds me of my old Ducati Hyperstrada in the sense that the front wheel is absolutely rock solid. And it really rewards barreling into corners, you know, hard on the brakes and then letting them off and then going round the corners and then hooning it out. Works really well because there is so much feel from the front end. And I think the engine complements the handling perfectly. So the engine only makes, 50 horsepower, but I feel as though when I'm having quite an exciting time, I'm using most of the engine, but I still feel as though I've got lots more handling that I'm not exploiting. So if I were to put a ratio on it, it feels like I can use 80 to 90% of the engine, but at the same time I'm only using 50% of the available handling, which is really good from a confidence perspective, and it also means there's quite a wide comfort zone in terms of the chassis not misbehaving if you start getting a little bit naughty with it. But overall, it's loads of fun. It's a brilliant riding experience, and I think it rewards the rider because it gives you so much feedback. Really great chassis, really good suspension, and it works really well with the engine. I can't give it any higher accolade than that. Oh, dark chocolate digested. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? Anyway, the final thing I wanted to say is I never realised I needed a set of blue wheels in my life, and I think this is the first bike that I've had with blue wheels. And as everyone knows, with blue paint, it's much lighter than black paint, and also blue is the colour of confidence, of focus and stability. I mean, what else would you want out of a set of wheels? Perfect. I am really enjoying the 650 Strada, the Aprilia Pegaso. I mean, while I suspect it might get me into trouble, I think it'll get me into the sort of trouble that I can actually get out of, which is always a good thing. But no, I'm having a ball on it. It is a right laugh. In summary then, the Aprilia 650 Pegaso Strada, it might be old, but it's definitely gold, and it's also a little bit naughty, which I think is a really good thing. Another thing that's really good is that it's slightly analogue as well, which I think, you know, is really nice in this day and age. So on that note, I'm going to go home, get warm, and I'll see you later. Oh, it's freezing. Lovely day though. Now, if you watched one of my earlier videos, you probably would have seen that I was in a bit of a dilemma as to what to do with the Guzzi, my Moto Guzzi V7, which I love dearly, but I was in a bit of a dilemma as to whether to get rid of it or not. Now, after riding this, what I've decided to do with the Moto Guzzi V7 Stornello is to